Okay, so I'll put together another special video because I know it's not only going to be a new moon on March 6th, but then also Mercury stations into retrograde, starts to go retrograde, and that's going to last for 3 weeks. So it ends on the 27th. So later on in this video, I'm going to walk us through. I'm going to do a screen share week by week so we can see the energies of each week while Mercury is in retrograde, because it's really important to have that. It's like I call this like navigation tools, Cosmic Navigator tools. So yeah, so we're gonna do that in general. I'm gonna do the screen share, but announcement I like to make is, I have an offer to do recorded readings, and one of them is called the week ahead. So for $20, I'll record what your week ahead is gonna look like based on your natal chart. Okay, so that's really important if you kind of want to navigate this Mercury retrograde energy and you want to know exactly how it's going to affect you and where it's going to affect you and what to look out for and how to navigate through that. This is the week ahead transits. And I'll put the link in on the video and the email and everything, and you'll see how to get to that. But yeah, for $20 to know what's up for the week, yeah, I think it's worth it. All right. Yeah, so then also, right after this, I'm going to have a guest on. And then after that, we're gonna do the weekly transits. But my guest is a good friend of mine, Destiny. And what are the odds that I have a friend that's related to astrology that's named Destiny? Destiny is written in the stars. But she practices human design. And it's funny because when we all hang out, we get together. My lingo is Sidereal Astrology, so I talk astrology lingo, and she talks human design lingo. So a lot of times we'll talk about something or whatever, and then we'll just be talking about the same lingo, the same thing with different lingo, and it matches. And I know so now I have a curiosity with human design because it incorporates astrology as well, has planetary influence in there, but it also goes deeper into your gene makeup. It's called the gene keys. It's related to the I Ching, the I Ching. So all of this stuff is kind of like surfacing, and I'm just like looking at it and saying, like, how does this match? And me, I'm always asking questions like, how does all this match? How does it work? Because it works. Because some of the stuff is the same, with the houses, with the signs, she'll say something, and it's like, well, that's because I have whatever in whatever house and sign, like that's the energy. And it's like, well, this is because, and it relates. And it's the same thing with all my friends who do tarot or the Magi cards. With one card, it's like, bam, they can tell you something that is related to like Mars in the 5th house and whatever, Capricorn. It's like, how can you pull that out in one card? So there is some type of esoteric match with all this work. And that's one of the things, that I want to share with you. So she's going to come on. She's going to give a transit reading just for the day of the new moon, which is also Mercury retrograde, which also her story matches with my story when I'm reading the transit for the day. So that's why I was like, let's just try to bring it on. And then she has an offer that she wants to extend to our group, which is a 20-minute consultation for $50 with human design. So she'll go over a consultation with you and like help you figure out human design. And if you want to work with her more, you can. She can do your whole human design reading. And I think she charges $150 or something like that. So yeah, we're going to chat for a little bit. She's going to give a reading, and we're going to kind of see how it matches. And then from there, we're going to go into my week by week transit reading during Mercury retrograde. So yeah, so also you're going to probably have questions. So we're going to try, and I think we're going to try to do it tomorrow between, what did I write down? Somewhere between 8 and 9-ish. So join the Facebook group. We're going to do a watch party on this video so that you can ask us questions. You can ask her questions or me questions while the video is playing. So we're going to shoot for that. But the only way you can get that invite for the watch party is if you're if you're a member of the Sidereal Revolution group. So if you're not a member, it's our Facebook group. It's called Sidereal Revolution. The link will be wherever you're watching this, and just click that link. And since you're watching this video, you're probably one of our homies, and you'll be approved right away, and you can watch our live our watch party on this video and ask questions. And I think that's it. That's all we have for today. So she's going to come on in a minute, and then we're going to stick around after that. We're going to do the 3-week transits for Mercury retrograde. All right, guys. Thanks. So I just had to travel to the stars to find destiny, because as we all know, destiny is written in the stars. So where else to go? So we got it back here to Earth. She's going to give us a little recap of human design reading for tomorrow, the new moon, which is also Mercury in retrograde. So let's listen to what Destiny has to say. All right, Destiny.
Hey, thank you, Isaac. I'm honored to be here with everybody, and excited to be here with you. And basically, I wanted to kind of explain a little tiny bit before I pull up the chart for tomorrow, the transit chart for tomorrow in the human design, just so that we kind of understand the language that's happening. Because I'm going to go through the planetary genes and what's happening with the planets that you've discussed in this video and that you're about to discuss. And basically, when we're born, the first touch of air, we are imprinted by neutrinos, which creates the conscious level of thinking. And then approximately 80 days before that, before we're born, we are imprinted with generational past life stuff, and that's called the subconscious. And so when I'm referring to the conscious and subconscious, also known as the design and the personality, conscious, subconscious, that's what I'm really meaning. It's and it breaks down. There's all kinds of math and stuff like that, because the human design is a combination of 9 different systems, including the Kabbalah and the I Ching and quantum physics and other things. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into tomorrow's transit. I'm going to pull up the design chart, and just know that it's going to vary for everybody. So this is just the energy of tomorrow, and how that affects you is going to be different for everyone based on your design. So I'm going to go ahead and share now.
Oh yeah, I should add in too that you're going to do for the group, you're doing the whole thing where you can do like a 20-minute consultation for $50, right?
Yes, yeah, and that'll give you like a really good basis of how this energy is affecting you, and we'll kind of get into some of the little things about you and how you make your decisions, what your personality type is, and how you can communicate better with yourself and those around you.
Yeah. All right, cool. And then they can go deeper, do whatever. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So for $50, you get 20 minutes. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Cool. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Because I mentioned that early in the video. I want to make sure that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you, Isaac.
All right.
So, all right. So here we have this is the transit chart for tomorrow. And as you can see, we have a defined sacral center here. And that's what the red box down second from the bottom is. It's a defined sacral center. And that basically means that we're going to be feeling generator energy tomorrow. And like I said, that affects everybody differently. So getting into the meat and bones of this, the sun energy is 70% of what our energy focuses on. So in the sun, we have our energy in the 63 here. So I'm just going to show you. In the crown chakra, as some like to say it, or in the crown center, it's undefined, but it's defined here in this 63rd gene or gate. And my favorite way to look at this is kind of diving into the gene keys themselves. There is human design, but the gene keys are really where the meat, like the good stuff, is for me. So this is going into the pineal gland. So I would even consider saging tomorrow, or getting your head clear, drinking lots of water, maybe sprinkle some salt in your water. That would be very helpful for the energy that's going to be coming through. This is not only in the sun, though. This is also in the conscious moon, the conscious Neptune, and the subconscious Neptune and Mars. So this 63 here is huge. It's a big deal for everyone, and it dives into doubt. So this is the gate of doubt. And in the gene keys, the shadow of doubt. And basically, there's, as a repressive side of the gene, you're going to be in self-doubt. And in the reactive side of the gene, you might feel suspicious. So just be aware of those energies. There's nothing good or bad about doubt. However, when you're in doubt and when you're in self-doubt or suspicion, people around you are going to be going to feel that they're going to be affected by that energy. So especially because this is going into the Sun, Moon, Neptune, and Mars. So this is a ton of focus energy right here in doubt. So what comes out of doubt is inquiry. So when we step out of doubt, we're going to be inquiring. We're going to be digging deeper. And I always suggest to everyone to dig deeper, dig into yourself and go into those shadowy corners of your thoughts that you don't really want to, but also relax into it and allow yourself to express those doubts and those fears, even if it's just to yourself, because acceptance is the first part of recognizing and accepting the energy that's happening in order to gain truth. So that's really what this is all about. It's all about truth, because that's the love state. That's the Siddhi state. Mm-hmm. We're trying to elevate ourselves and others into the light of truth. So that's the energy behind all of that.
I just want to add one thing, that when you're reading that's the whole thing that Destiny and I always talk about, is like, she's talking about this stuff, and that's exactly what's happening with Sun and Neptune, conjunct Neptune. This is the great unknown, which when you're in the unknown, it's doubt. So this is what I'm saying. This is how it's like, well, how does that make sense? These are the questions that I'm asking, but it does, because she's saying the same thing that I'm saying with Neptune conjunct Sun conjunct Moon. It's in Aquarius. So yeah, it's very much watery, like, unknown and great big universal love. So anyway, keep going, because I don't want to throw you off track.
Oh, no, you're good. So the next thing we were talking about, Isaac, was the Chiron Mercury. Yes. I don't know. Have you gotten into that too much? I haven't.
No, well, what I see, it's in Pisces, so that's the sign of our times, and this is like exposing of the wounds and kind of being more expressive about the wounds, and then healing these wounds in a more like a communicative way. So that's kind of what I grew up with, and then I think you mentioned some stuff with healing too, with Chiron and Mercury.
Yeah. So on the conscious side of it, we are in the gene 25, which is in the sense of self. So I'm going to go ahead and show you. Mm-hmm. This is the self center. So this is who you actually are, who we actually are. And basically what that entails is at the shadow level of this gene, we have constriction. Mm-hmm. At the gift level of this gene, we have acceptance, and then at the love state of this gene, we have, or the Siddhi, we have universal love. So ultimately, no matter what, as I go through like the shadowy parts, just know that the shadow and the gifts are really meant to be observed. They're not really supposed to be judged. Take it easy on yourself. It's okay. And we're really trying to get to a state of universal love. So every time you're like, oh, I'm feeling so constricted, just accept it, move into it, relax into it, and then just understand that we're all trying to just achieve something from the deepest part of who we are. And that's the energy that's affecting us tomorrow. So constriction starts young at the personal level. So it starts in the womb by your mother's breath, by the father's breath. And a lot of times we get constricted, we clench our jaws, we breathe weird, and that's what really gets into conscious breathing. And that's the biggest thing I can say here is, if you feel constricted, breathe through it. Just the conscious breath is 3 seconds in, 6 seconds out. So just conscious breathe into it, into the constriction, because at the personal level, it starts really young, and there's nothing we can really do about it. It's something that happens. It's cultural, and a lot of times it's because of pressures from like society. So then we get into the community part of this gene, which is breaking things into laws, territories, mine and yours. Money is in this shadow as well. But really what's affected here is time management. So global tension is a result of time. So, if you're feeling constricted by time, or if everybody around you is constricted by time, just breathe into it. Again, it goes right back into the acceptance. And in order to accept it, you have to acknowledge it first. So,
yeah, let me add to that real quick, because that's the whole thing we have with Saturn and Pluto going on. That's the whole thing. So that's that breakdown. But then you said something like global. And every time I use when I try to use Pisces, Pisces is the age of our time. That's global, so it's global healing. You know, so this is all the stuff. And constriction is Saturn. Saturn is constriction. So it's like we're healing what constriction is. We're healing what is it to be responsible, and then what is it to be constricted. Those are different things, but you can constrict your energy to be constructive and to create, but not to be controlled. So this is how we break free from all these kind of cosmic influences. So yeah, all right. So
yeah, and constriction, just going right back into that, constriction is a distortion of universal love. So when we're feeling constricted, we're distorting what universal love is, and that's what we really want. So just be in mind of that. In the repressive nature of this, there's ignorance. So it's like your inability to look at the pain. And then at the reactive side, you're going to be cold to the pain, just unwilling to accept or be accountable to your inner constrictions. So again, this is all about acceptance and universal love. So even when you're feeling these things, it's just meant to be observed. You're going to feel them no matter what. Yeah. And it's going to come from a very deep sense of who you are from inside. There's almost nothing we can do about it. You just have to go through it.
Wow. Okay. So, Destiny and I didn't really rehearse any of this stuff. And I actually recorded part 3, which is the end, which is the transits, before this part, just so you know. And because she has her child, she's, feeding. But at the end, that's exactly what I wrote. And we didn't even talk about this. And in the end, I wrote it's all about unconditional love. The whole healing process with this Mercury retrograde, at the end, with dealing with the Aquarius, it's all about universal unconditional love and breaking down the barriers. So when you see the end of the video, know that was recorded before this, and it matches. So this is where we always freaking out, which probably we can make this video even longer, right? But can't keep going. But this is what I'm talking about, how things are just, stuff will just come up, and I'm just like, well, how does it make sense? How, but it does. So, and I'm going to prove it to you at the end of the video. You're going to see it. So anyway.
Yeah, that's amazing. We were not prompted at all. In fact, it was one of those things where I was like, okay, you do your part first. I got stuff to take care of, and so here we are. That's hilarious.
So this is just so pure spot affirmation. This is what we're talking about. This is sharing this.
I'm so grateful to be here.
Yeah. It's tripping me out. Yeah.
So, okay, so finally, just to kind of wrap up my end of things, in the subconscious Chiron, we have 36. And the 36 is here in the solar plexus. So this is coming from a feeling, and it's not defined here. You can't see it. I'll just go ahead and zoom in for you. But this is the 36. This is coming from a sense of feeling. This is the feeling center. This is where... 50% of the world makes decisions from this spot. So 50% of you will be like, well, I have definition here. So this is where I make my decisions. So this might be a big one for half of the world. This is going to be a big one for you. And it's in Chiron. So it's about, the healing the wounds of the past. So, and then it's subconscious too. So it's digging deeper into that. And the shadow of this gene is turbulence. The gift is humanity, and the love state is compassion. So when we break that down, this focuses all on the solar plexus. So solar plexus health is really good. Get into meditation, going right back to the breathing, going right back to the water. Fill up those empty feelings and those empty thoughts with love and water and breath, because that's really the fuel. That's really the food here.
Water, that's the water bearer. That's what we're talking about. Aquarius, the water bearer, washing it all away, healing out those.
Add some salt so that you have some electrolytes. That'll help retain the water. It'll help integrate a lot of this information.
Yeah. Wow.
So with the turbulent side, in the repressive nature, there's going to be some nervousness, and then in the reactive nature. You're gonna be crisis prone. So kind of don't resist the challenges, the emotional challenges that are gonna come up. Don't resist them. It's okay to when you are resisting them, you're in your shadow. So that's what I can say. It's okay to resist them, but when you are resisting them, you're bringing shadows to others. And a lot of times I hear people say, I don't want to bleed on other people with my emotions and things, but this is one of those things where you will if you're in your shadow. So
that's what I say.
Yeah.
Letting out my secrets. I was like, I don't want to bleed on anyone. I got this. I'm good. Just let me lie here bleeding.
But when you're in your shadow, sometimes you can't help but bleed on people. So it's all about bringing awareness to this. Again, going right back to the recognition and acceptance of all of this information, and just being like, well, there is some major turbulence here, and I, it's really good to call people and let people know that you're going through it. Grab your surfboard.
Yeah, so the Mercury kicking in with the
and this is going to manifest. So a lot of the shadow work will kind of manifest through sexual energy in this 36 gene here. It kind of shows up as lust. It shows up as a lot of times people cheating on other people in the sexuality realm. That's how this gene kind of shows up. Oh, wow. So if you're having those inclinations, or if you're feeling those feelings, this is the shadow just illuminating to you, like, all right, well, you have a choice to make here. And when you get out of that turbulence, that emotional turbulence, you're getting into the humanity part of things. So again, we're talking about universality, and then the compassion in it all. So meet yourself with love, meet yourself with compassion. At the end of the day, I got this from the Gene Key book, and I'm going to finish up with this. Mm-hmm. At the shadow level frequency, there is nothing but truth. Mm-hmm. And at the gift frequency, there's nothing but truth. Truth is every step of the way. So I think that kind of wraps it up for me. I mean, I could go on forever.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what I'm saying.
But I'll just go ahead and spare us all. And
it's all good. All right. No, this was great.
And if you feel called to having a reading with me, go ahead and find me on Facebook. You can also email me. I'll go ahead and comment on this post with my information, my email and everything. And then just friend me, follow me, whatever you feel called to do. And I can offer those $50 readings for 20 minutes, and we can get into some really good stuff for you. So.
All right, cool. Yeah, because you're part of the group. So whoever's watching us that's part of the group, then you'll link up. Yeah. And I think we're going to try. We don't know what's up because we're both busy. We're going to try to do a watch party and then comment on the watch party. But it might honestly, based on our schedule, it might have to be the day after, because I'm doing readings at a coffee shop, and you're also doing readings at another coffee shop. So it's so funny. She's at one coffee shop doing readings, I'm at another coffee shop doing readings, and we had no idea that that's what we're doing tomorrow.
Yeah, it just happened that way. It's funny.
So it's just like that, yeah. We actually might see each other on the highway driving.
I'll wave.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, thank you so much, Isaac. I know that this is only the beginning of a lot of really cool things and a lot of great potential. So thank you again, and thank you everyone for tuning in.
Oh, that's your cue.
Get your calls.
Yeah, I'll catch you later.
All right. Thank you.
See you later. Okay. Bye. Okay, so we're back. So here I have the transits up for the week starting March 6th. I think it's through March 10th, right? Yeah, March 10th, which is Sunday. So basically we're getting a late start on this week because Mercury Retrograde starts, on Wednesday. All right, so yeah, but let's pull that up. Okay, so if you haven't seen the new moon video, you should watch that, and you'll get more in-depth reading on what this new moon was about. But in a nutshell, it was about you had a Chiron conjunct Mercury while Mercury goes into retrograde. So this was this big kind of like deeper, like a exposing of healing. I think that I labeled that last video the water bearer of floods. Floods and cleanses. So it's all about bringing something up to the surface for healing, and then the flood will cleanse, because the new moon is going to be in Aquarius, which is a humanitarian, which is like for the people, liberation. So all of this energy is there, and then Neptune was there too. So Neptune plays a big role in this great abyss, this great unknown. It could also come up as confusion, which we saw in the last human design reading that Destiny gave. There was something in there that was called doubt or something like that, doubt and confusion. So that's the Neptune energy that we're looking at. So that's the energy of this new moon that we're having. But what I want to go over now is the transits during that week, so we can see the energy coming to us. Because remember, Mercury's in retrograde, which means like stuff, the energy is going to be lagging of information, because what it looks like is Mercury is kind of moving back. So the messenger is like not really arriving, and it's arriving later than usual. So that can create more confusion, which is why Mercury retrograde is a confusing time. But if you use these tools to navigate, you might have an easier ride, because as we go through the weeks, you're going to see there's one of those weeks that are going to be pretty intense, like really intense, and I'll show it to you on the screen share. All right, so first we're going to start off with this week, and we'll move forward. Okay, so I'm just going to focus on like some really important stuff. I have the chart up here, but we already discussed, the sun moon conjunct, of course, right? New moon. Then there's the Neptune energy that we spoke about. This is going to go on for a while. This is Jupiter and Pluto. So what I wrote here, and for each one of these, I'm just going to like tell a part of a story. This is like a story. So I'm just reading a book, with a few sentences in each transit to tell a story. I'm not going to give like a whole big thing, because it's 3 weeks. So this right here is a long process, and I wrote here, this could be the elixir, going through the cycles of the process of creation, because remember, Jupiter is in the galactic center, and that was that whole image that I played out with you guys, where there's this like great elixir being mixed up. And now Pluto, we all know Pluto is the lord of the dark, the shadow work, and it's also creation. It's creation and resurrection. It's the cycles of life. Pluto is the phoenix rising. So this right now, that elixir that Jupiter is dealing with, now it's going to be going through this process of like taste testing, and like, okay, like it's gonna go, or it's not gonna go, or this is good. So now we're getting into creation, which is exciting right now. Okay, because then from there, right, then here's another part of the story, is we know that we have the Pluto-Saturn conjunction that's playing out. Now check this out. Sun is sextiling Saturn. So there's Saturn now being played, right? And that's where this transit is. So just to point out, this Jupiter-Pluto thing is you're gonna see it's gonna go on through all the transits. I'm gonna point this Chiron out to you too. I forgot to mention that. But here, I want to show you. Here's the Saturn Sun. Saturn Sun goes on for pretty much a long time. Let's have a look. It goes on for the whole week. It ends. What is that? Looks like it ends on March 10th at 5:15. That's in the morning. So yeah, you'll wake up and that will be over. But yeah, so for the first part of the week, Saturn, Sun Saturn. That's like super authority right there. And Saturn is in Sagittarius. Sun is on the cusp between Aquarius and Pisces. So right there, there's this kind of like authority. There's this like structure of limits, like checking in with the limits, while there's this kind of freedom, liberation thing going on. Because that was that other transit. Here we have this Mercury, and it's only for a few days, but it's a semi-sextile to Uranus, and this is liberation. So that's the healing work, because that Mercury was also conjunct Chiron. So there's like something that's breaking free, which is great. This is what you need, right? So that's the main jam that's going on. I see something else here. I wrote down. It's gonna be Mars sextiling Neptune. This is spiritual warrior energy, and what I wrote is could feel like a breakthrough. Since the new moon was confusion, this Mars now could be this kind of clarity, because Mars will break through any illusion for clarity. So Neptune represents illusion or dream state or spiritual or unknown or confusion. That's only because the great spirit energy is so large and big and vast that it is confusing, because we're not attuned 100% to that right now. So that could be. So if you're feeling kind of like crazy, it's understandable. But that date is going to kick in on March 8th, go through the week, and I think it extends for a little while. So just know that the clarity will come at March 8th. So you might have a nebulous kind of time leading up to the new moon, during the new moon, and a day or two after, and then you'll start to have this breakthrough energy. All right. So that's direction right there. All right. So that's week 1, 6th through the 10th. Let's see. I got this organized correctly. Which, let's see here. Okay. Yeah. Here is the 10th through what, the 17th. Okay. So that's that week going on right here. Okay, let me see what I have here in my notes. All right, so right off the bat, we can see that Mars transit's going to continue to the 12th. We just discussed that. We can see that Jupiter-Pluto transit, semi-sextile transit, is like going on and on. Because creation and destruction takes a lot of time. You know, death hurts. It takes a long time. Birth hurts. Takes a long time. All of those. So that's what's going on. But here's this is what we call confluence. This is where one thing stops, something else takes off, right? So here we got, right here on the 12th, this Mars-Jupiter ends, right? So now we have here the Sun, Pluto starts up on the 12th. It goes exact on the 13th and it ends on the 14th. So for 2 days, that's pretty intense. So this is the energy of what powers do you have? Because a Pluto-Sun connection is shaman power. So it's like, here are your powers. How are you going to use them? What do you, here's your power. So now you have, I think this is a major test of your power, because you have this Mars trine Saturn right around the same time. It goes a little longer. Goes to, what date is that? That looks like 15th. Okay, so it's a little longer, but here's the deal. Mars, Saturn, if you don't manage it correctly, is frustration. Doesn't matter if it's a good aspect or not. Mars, Saturn creates frustration. Why? Because it's success. Success creates, success happens with proper management of energy, of power. So Mars on its own could be like egoic, it could be like, I have all the power, I'm going to just blast right through it. And Saturn is like, no. This timing to everything. So how are you going to manage your time and your power? Because you can just deplete yourself really fast, because Mars doesn't care. Mars will deplete really quickly. So Saturn holds back the reins so that you can have longevity with that power. All right? Because see, we had that Sun Pluto, which is magic power. This is shaman power. Now Mars comes in and dealing with this like masculine power. So we're gonna have a look at that. All right. Now we're gonna look over here. We're gonna have Sun square Jupiter, and what I wrote down for Sun square Jupiter is make sure that there is no waste or overextension, because Jupiter is about overextending. Jupiter could be wasteful or could overextend. It could be gluttonous, and since it's a square to the Sun, which the Sun had a contact with Pluto. I would definitely keep an eye out for overextension of your energy. Keep an eye out for that, 100% for sure. All right. So I think that's what I saw for that week. So this is 310 through 317. Okay. So we're gonna continue with the next week. Okay. So now we're looking at the week of March 18th through March 24th. So there's a few things going on here which can lead to some frustration. And I realize in the last few ones I didn't mention the signs that they were in. So since it's a quick video, I'm not going to go back and do a retake. So you can ask me questions if you want to know, or you can look right here real quick. But here you have, I wrote a little story out. This, I think, for me, when I was looking at this, I felt like, yeah, this might be the challenging week. So March 18th, which is interesting because March 18th is my daughter's birthday. So that's a funny thing. So right away, what I see here is this quick kind of connection between Mercury and Venus. And it makes sense when you look at this whole story, because also on the 20th is the full moon. And that full moon, where was it? We'll look again, but I think it was gonna be in Pisces. If I'm no wait, maybe not. No, was it in Libra? Anyway, we're gonna look because I'm looking at too many charts right now. So we'll pin down that date for you, and we'll get it. Now you got me confused. So that is going to be full moon is going to be, looks like Virgo. Is that right? Let me look at my chart here. These are my. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, Virgo. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Full moon in Virgo, March 20th. Okay. So we confirm that. All right. Anyway, let's stay on focused over here. This right here, this little contact right here, I wrote down. It's just gonna be like this. Mercury is still in retrograde. It hits Venus. It's a semi-sextile. I wrote down just like there's gonna be a check-in, like, hey, what's good? You know, like that type of energy. And then you're gonna see a really short blast of Mercury Mars, which I didn't even write anything down for this. I don't think because it was just so short. But then you're gonna see here a Mars. That Mars trine Pluto right here, that same thing. Again, it's happening. It goes on it goes on from what, 18th all the way through the 21st. So this right here, I wrote amazing power, and this is Shiva power. This is creation and destruction. Shiva is that god of destruction and creation. So this is like, this could be a week of just like complete annihilation and complete rebirth. In I don't know what order, because remember, it's like it's disorder, and Shiva is disorder, so there could be a lot of disorder, but remember, there's an end story here, and it's about creation. It's about something new, so that's what I want to stay focused on, because this can be interesting. Because then we move along here. We have this right here. We have this Mercury sextile Saturn. That goes on, same thing, it's like all this confluence. That goes on right at the 19th, ends on the 21st, and we know we have that full moon on the 20th. We just confirmed it was Virgo after a lot of paper shuffling. Paper shuffling. Anyway, so this right here, this Mercury, Saturn, and Saturn, we all know it's just in Sagittarius. That's where it's hanging out. Mercury is on the cusp, retrograde, in between Pisces and Aquarius. So this right here is, I think that this is the calibration of time is what I wrote. Because this is, you know, Mercury is the intelligence. It's the messenger. Saturn is the limitations, time, structure. So I think during this Shiva stimulation of like creation or destruction, there's something being calibrated. And I wonder what that is. You know, calibration of what, you know. Of rebuilding, or calibration of how long does it take to break down, or I don't know. So that's something that's going to be happening, a testing of time, of calibration. But then also you're going to have you have a Venus square Saturn. So I just have to find here Venus square Mars. So masculine and feminine. See, this is what I'm saying. So there's, and that goes on till, looks like the 23rd, midnight around. Yeah, so Venus is where? Venus is in Capricorn. So Venus has a Saturnian type of energy. You see what I'm saying? So again, Venus is the one that's kind of like, has this little bit of structure. And Saturn is, Mars is on the cusp right here. It's Aries, you know, Taurus cusp. So yeah, so Venus, and remember Taurus rules Venus. So Mars is coming into that place. So yeah, there's like, I think the masculine is going to be like having to get recalibrated in order to enter into this beauty that Venus is holding, which is fine. I mean, why not, right? Because then again, you see right here, Venus, Pluto, right after that. Venus, Pluto, in my experience, is sexual energy, creation, and it's a good contact, so it's good. It's not like a square opposition, which could be a little bit hard. So this is good. This is creation through sexual energy. You know, so there could be some type of, I can see Saturn going through its calibration, Mars going through its calibration period, or something is going on there. Some kind of calibration is going on with this destruction and resurrection, and Venus being like, okay, you know, before, in the beginning of this week, she was like, what's good with Mercury? Now it's like, okay, like, Are you good enough to come into the space? Because this is sacred space, and that's the sacred sexual space of creation. So that could be kind of just playing out. Looks like then that's the Shakti. I wrote power of Shakti. So Shiva is what the other one was with Mars, Pluto, right? And then Venus Pluto is Shakti. That's the feminine creation and destruction. So this could be an interesting week. Very interesting week. Then you have Mars, looks like quincunx, right? Mars quincunx, yeah, quincunx Saturn, right around that same time. What is that? Right about the 20th. It goes on, move this over, it goes on to the 23rd. And Saturn is still here in Sagittarius, and Mars is on that cusp that we spoke about. So this is conquering. This is success, actually. So this is good. This is like, after all that junk, whatever it is that we dealt with in the beginning of the week, this is like successful conquering or achievement, because Mars, Jupiter is successful achievement, conquering. So that's cool. And then we got that new moon, which by the time the new moon comes out, I'll have a new moon video out and you'll see. But we confirmed that new moon on the 20th was in Virgo. Looks like cusp Virgo and Leo, but yeah, Virgo. All right, so we're gonna go on one more week, even though it ends on the 27th. There's still some backlash or some residual effect. What do I have? The residual effect is not much, and there's a great story at the end. Residual. Let's see. This is very interesting. This is really great. Really great. I like these. I have friends who have this stuff. Mercury conjunct Neptune. This is like really powerful, high spiritual messages. So you for sure 100% guys, like, tune in and give space to voices that come into your head. I'm serious. Mercury, Neptune, super space, and messages, because right here, don't pass up this opportunity, because especially if you're going through all this stuff that we're going to be dealing with Mercury retrograde, you want to tune in to higher messages coming through, and that is the best time right here is to do. And it says here Mercury goes direct on the 28th, but I think it stations. Here it goes. The station's direct on the 27th, which means that it stands still from its retrograde motion, and then it kind of like takes time to then go direct. So here it's saying it's going direct on the 28th. So yeah, that makes sense. All right, but for sure, 100% tune into that stuff. This right here, I wrote. This is great. This is Venus sextile Uranus right here. Let's see what sign Venus is in by this point. Venus is in Aquarius, okay, which is ruled by Uranus. So great time. This is right here, freedom, love of freedom, or breaking free with love for freedom. This is all about love and freedom for a higher consciousness and humanity, because it's Aquarius ruled by Uranus. Venus is contacting Uranus. Venus is in Aquarius ruled by Uranus. This is all about the higher evolution of love, like unconditional, highly spiritual charged love. And this is what we're talking about. This is the movement that we got to jump into if we want to have a good time. All right, and then so here's the confluence that I wrote down. Let's see if I can catch this. Oh yeah, okay. You see how Venus sextile Uranus ends at 9:38, and then Mercury goes station direct on 9:58. So it's like bam, end of the story, clarity. What are we doing? Higher vibrational, spiritual, unconditional love. That's what's up. That's the message. That's the tools that we got that we have to work with. All right. So and I wrote here, end of the story. I don't know if you can see it. End of the story. So that's the end of the story. So we're going to wrap this up. Long video. Get your human design reading, because it's pretty awesome. And get your week ahead transits with me if you want, $20. And yeah, I think that's it. All right. So guys, I'll catch you later. Thanks. Bye.